Today we're here at Goodwood Motor Circuit in preparation for the Goodwood Revival coming up soon. Just here, just getting the miles in. The time at Goodwood in terms of track time is very valuable, so any time that we can have a run here and a bit of a test is very worthwhile. Massively into my historic racing. It's got a lot of soul, it's got a lot of love around it. I think it's almost like a side hustle, a side career to obviously the British Touring Car programme. So Rick Wood is predominantly a car builder and engine builder. He's renowned for his Ford Capris, but also the reason I've got to know Rick, he invited me to drive his Skyline one day, and my love for Nissan Skylines sort of echoed through with Rick, and our relationship grew from there. And we're just here to make him a little bit quicker in his Capri so that we're ready for when we race here at the Revival. In actual fact, I think how historic supports my proper career with touring cars is actually car control has a big part to play in it. You know, I mean, my engineers and especially my teammates on a couple of occasions this year have said, I just don't know how you're hanging on to the British touring car, you know, it's all over the place. And the answer is it's because I've learnt to drive these things. You know, they're on to be quite honest, a rubbish tyre, a period tyre that they raced on, and the thing has no grip. So you learn to deal with a car that moves around, slides, and is, imperfect in pretty much every way. And so when you get back into a British touring car, which is trying to be perfect, and sometimes, and a lot of the time they can't be, whether it's due to contact or weather conditions, it's hard work. And so for me, that's easy, because if you can drive one of these things, you can drive a British touring car to victory when it's not working correctly.
We've been coming to Knockhill for 30 years in the British Touring Car Championship. This is where the crucial points scoring begins. It is a good getaway for Jake Hill.
Sutton again, now attacking on the outside as they come down to the hairpin.
Jake squeezing a little bit, so is Ash Sutton. They did touch briefly there. Can Ash Sutton break later than the BMW? They go into Duffer's Dip, up onto two wheels, and he is in the lead.
Got Jake. Come on, Jake!
Lock up, big lock up. Hill locked up his brakes and went into the back of Ash Sutton, but they all escaped. Now he's on the outside. He's going to run. He's closing the door. Is Sutton going to let him in? They're going to be side by side. There's a little touch. Sutton retains the position.
But the move has gone as Hill is sideways again. So that's made a right old mess of the BMW. The grille is very dishevelled now after that headbutt in a sense. Jake Hill will have plenty more ideas up his sleeve. Will draw level on the outside instead.
Now he's through. He's got cleanly in front this time.
Yes, come on!
Sutton's looking for that opportunity again. Jake Hill closes it off. Now he needs a really good hard lap. And Jake, very judicious use of the curbs there, floating the cars across Duffers.
Yeah, sublime car control on tyres that are getting a little bit beaten up right now. But it is a win again for Jake Hill here at Knockhill to kick things off this weekend.
Get in! Get in!
Eventful race one, definitely, but I got a really good start from pole position. Immediately Ash with that front wheel drive car and how good they can brake initially, straight on top of me, and to be fair to him, he pulled a really good move into turn one around the outside. But then the car came alive for me, and we just got after him. It was really just a case of, right, just spend a lap behind him, think about what you're doing again and have another go. And that's exactly what we did. Obviously, from a points point of view, fantastic.
Onto the top step of the podium. Mickey congratulates and holds the trophy high. Jake Hill.
That's the Ginetta Juniors for their last session of the day, please. I'm fairly useless at most things in life. Driving a car, I think, is the only thing I'm actually half decent at. But I can do accents, And the good thing is I can sort of merge in, you know, so we're talking Australia, then we can go over to somewhere like Wales, and once you're talking in Welsh, then it's absolutely banging. I wouldn't say it's a talent, it's just a weirdness. It's been a tough season, I think, actually, so far to this point. Because of not having to carry the ballast, the hybrid has kind of closed things up a lot more, because it's meant that the cars are feeling consistent over the course of the race weekend, so everyone's tweaking and finding those half a tenth, then a tenth, then another half a tenth. Qualifying will be key. This place is historically very difficult to get past and to overtake.
It's short lap, you know, it's a bit like a Brands Indy, you know, 50 seconds, something like that. So it's very much a rhythm circuit, because you're hitting the curbs in, you know, so aggressively all the time. All you need is to land better than the rest once and you're off.
Go on then, sausage. Let's go do this.
Last car position now.
Good even start, very much like the first one. Not much difference between front and rear wheel drive off the front of the grid. One of the motor-based Fords, I think, going
Jackson,
off there.
Ollie Jackson, maybe.
Safety car, taking safety car, race to the board.
Tom Ingram has got away from the grid. Well, in fact, he's gained a place. He dives up the inside as we go. Safety car of Stephen Jelly as well.
What this does do, though, is it gives the BMWs a little bit more time to get more temperature in their tyres. Jake Hill particularly, so he'll be pleased to have this safety car, because it means Ash Sutton can't attack him so hard when his tyres are cold.
Safety car is in at the end of the lap.
He's gone now. He's going to use all the traction of that BMW to come off the corner well. Look at Ingram on the attack with Turkington round the outside. Now he's going to try and cut back, but the BMW will have greater traction off the corner. Ingram being really aggressive this race.
For the race lead, here comes Ash Sutton from a long way back.
Well, it must have been a mistake from Jake Hill at the chicane.
He went off into the gravel, Jake Hill, a very unusual mistake there.
Yeah, and he knew he was going off very early. You saw he just backed right off the throttle to save the car.
Let's just see what we can do, mate. Nothing we can do now, so let's try and live with it.
Yeah, back in the day, it's not actually the gear cut, it's the engine. With nothing we can do anyway.
No, exactly.
Just roll with it.
He's got some work to do now, but he did it in race one, finding a way past.
I haven't all of a sudden forgotten how to go through the chicane. I don't know if something's broken or something else has happened, but something felt totally different.
So Camish wanting to place his car cleverly. He's having to attack and defend at the same time, which is never a nice place to be in. And Rory Butcher will not need any more than half an invitation on Dan Camish. Side by side, these cars fairly level pegging out of the hairpin, and it will be Butcher who will get the place on Camish. That was well thought out, in fact, planned a few corners back, and the Toyota is through.
I don't want to jinx him, but of course Ash Sutton's is the only one of the top four in the championship who hasn't won a race yet. So close, isn't it, at the front? Final lap, though. Jake Hill never gives up. Look at the two of them sideways through Duffers.
Has Jake Hill timed this attack to perfection? Is he going to swallow up the inside? No. Ashley Sutton saw that attack coming. The drive off the final corner for the BMW is going to be interesting, because he's virtually in the pit lane. Across the line, Sutton gets it, but only by 1.5 tenths.
Mega.
Jake Hill ruined that mistake he made earlier in the race to let Sutton through, because he couldn't get back past.
I got a good run out of the last corner there for the win, obviously, to the line, and he's putting me on the grass and putting me into the pit lane, so I've had to lift out the throttle. So yeah, I mean, he's feisty, that's for sure. So yeah, it's a tricky situation, but you know, we just got to live with it and move on.
Tom Ingram, good for championship points, finishing in 4th position.
Yeah, it looked a lot better visually. You maintain with Shedden and Butcher. Yeah, we're able to get around Gamble at turn 2 anyway, so.
First 5 minutes, rapid.
Yeah.
Literally like pushing people around.
Yeah.
Pulling from Butcher, looked really strong. Everything I needed in the middle. And I'm sat there thinking, we're on now.
Mega.
And there's literally, I can literally sit there in the seat and say it. This is it. This is the moment.
And is it like that?
Like that. You can pick the lap.
Yeah.
You can feel it happening under you. It's just like, that's it, it's gone. Can't get it stopped, can't get it turned, can't come off the corner. And Butcher's like, whoop, bye, go. Everyone just went. And I'm just, I'm left. I've got to do it. I can't drive any faster than that. I'm doing my best just to drive it at that speed. It makes me look amateur.
Forget about the way you look, the way. Yeah, but you need to get over that and go, right, park that. How do we make the car better? It's not how we make you better, it's how we make the car better. So
at this point in my career, I'm not sure if I'm going to get any better. I'm kind of where I am, where I am.
And one thing about me that I wish I could change, but also I know that you can't really change who you are in deep down. I care what people think. I wish I didn't. When I joined British Touring Cars, even though I'd been warned about it, probably one thing I didn't realise was how much of a bigger step it was from a support category to the main championship. How many more people were watching, how many more people had an opinion. I do find that quite difficult sometimes, you know, because you are sort of part of this, you know, big show, and everyone's got an opinion on it, some good, some bad, and overcoming that, I think, is quite difficult.
The first time he started from pole position, that is a good getaway. It really hooks up nicely. Carnage at the start, typical race 3 fare, really. Already there's contact.
Ingram.
Oh, and up on 2 wheels there. I think briefly was Dan Camish as well. That's majorly broken suspension.
That rear wheel, bit the radio up. I never made it round turn 3. Just got collected by a recovering Gordon Shedden, whether or not he was off track, on track, going slow. I just came around the corner and went, and just there was no way I could avoid him. Just went wheel to wheel, and it put me in the air. Nearly rolled the thing over, I think, to be honest. And it destroyed the suspension. We had a fantastic view of the track. Great place to watch actually there over the chicane, but not where I wanted to be. I wanted to be going over the chicane. It's been a tough one. I think I say that every week, and I wish I didn't have to, but yeah, it's just a struggle at the moment.
I did say to him at one point, I said, crikey, did you break a mirror this year? And he went, yeah, I think I did actually. It's like, yeah.
Jake Hill gets wide, puts a wheel on the dirt, and through goes Sutton. Doesn't need a second invitation. That was the part of the track that Hill was struggling with throughout race 2.
He's very leery indeed on the exit of the hairpin as well in the Rocket MB car, but Ash Sutton's gone behind him again. And the move is repaid by Jake Hill. He goes back up to 4th position. That was much, much better, wasn't it? The rear did not step out this time around, so developing his driving style on the fly, effectively.
Championship leader Tom Ingram, after that moment at McIntyre's, is out of the points at the moment.
P20.
This is real advantage for Turkington, Sutton, Hill, those that are challenging him at the front of the points.
Jake Hill's just done the fastest lap of the race, so that shows that his car's clearly back on point.
Yeah, look how far he's pulled away from Sutton. He's pulled a huge distance on Sutton.
Rory Butcher well aware of the presence of Colin Turkington in this rapid BMW. Jake Hill as well is ready to take any spoils that might come his way there. So these two have squabbled all season long, in fact, and Jake Hill sometime having the measure on the vastly more experienced BMW driver. Through Duffers Dip they go again. Turkington's running a little short though of hybrid laps now.
Jake Hill's in his own championship fight now. He's dragged himself back into contention, so every point is really important to him.
We just need these two to get very involved.
Yes, it has all the ingredients.
Can he get round the outside of the hairpin? Look, Turkington backed out of it. Turkington completely braked early. He thought, I am not having any part of this.
He gave it to him.
Easy. And then they've swapped Jake and Colin, so Jake can have a go at Butcher.
Well, the headlights come on for Jake Hill, meaning he really does mean business now. He's been given the open road to Rory Butcher up ahead. Colin Turkington slipping to 4th, but that might all be part of the programme at West Surrey Racing.
And Rory Butcher has got a massive fight on his hands.
And he's got very, very good momentum coming out of the hairpin.
Oh, big oversteer moment there. Gets on the power, tries to cut back, then goes to the outside. They're side by side. Hill has more momentum. He's going to take the place.
Yes, good boy!
There is George Gamble. He was really nervous at the start of the race. They were jangling, but he has measured the pace throughout. George Gamble across the line, 4.3 seconds ahead of Jake Hill. Rory Butcher does hang on to 3rd position ahead of Colin Turkington.
Oh yeah!
Cracking
Good job, mate. Fantastic job.
What a weekend.
I was about to come on the radio, but something was going on down here. And then he went through the chicane again, and he was like, "Don't worry, boys, I got my mojo back." So I came on the radio, so I can see that you've just gone purple lap. So
58 points we scored. That's the most anyone scored all year.
And is it really?
Yep.
I mean, I owe a lot of thank yous this weekend because the car was back on form for that last race, and you know, we got to about 7 laps to go, and Colin and his engineer John very kindly let me go and try and get past Rory, and obviously we succeeded. I managed to get past Rory and go home to take second. So it's such a good points haul. That's the main thing. We now come away from here, you know, 14 points off the lead from 41. You know, so that's a massive, massive jump. Nearly 30 points we've gained, and the highest scorer all year with 58 points, which is, you know, pretty awesome. So I'm thrilled.
It was a fantastic weekend. You can often tell with a driver when they turn up, when you first see them at the track, what frame of mind they're in. And everything about Jake that weekend was super focused and positive. I think when you know you're in the right team, when you enjoy working with everyone and you have the respect for everyone and you're competitive, you know that's when you've fallen on your feet and you're in a good team with that respect. For me, it's that privilege of competing in a professional sport that I get the buzz from. I'm actually serving notice in my existing job to go full-time race engineering, but it's what you love, and I think the key is if it doesn't feel like work, I think you know you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, touring cars does take up a lot of your time. Time is everything, isn't it, for everyone? It doesn't matter what industry you're in, but I think it's just because I love historic racing so much. I love the cars more than anything. You know, I want to do it, so I make the time, I make it happen. It's such a big part of who I am as a person, not just my racing career. So it's almost just important in some ways. You know, it just brings me a lot of joy, and you know, you make the time for stuff you love. You do, you just make the time, you make it happen, and you come away feeling very happy that you have.